What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back for another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. First things first, I have to let y'all know I will be out again next week. I will not be dropping a podcast for the week of Thanksgiving. It is my 40th birthday and I will be doing something spectacular. So I can't tell y'all right now what it is. Y'all just gonna have to wait and listen when I get back. But I will not be dropping an episode for Thanksgiving. So we will just use this as a celebration. Yes, there's topics, but we're gonna give thanks. Okay. So keep that in mind. If you don't see an episode of Black News that week dropping Thursday, which is actually Thanksgiving Day, it is because I am busy. And I'm sure you will be as well, eating turkey, having fantastic times with friends and family, or maybe you just stand somewhere by yourself. Hope y'all cook some delicious food and enjoy yourself. Have a restful day. We are celebrating, well, as Black people, Thanksgiving ain't even about the pilgrims and that story they told us. It's about having some time off and then getting to kick it and eat food. That's what it's about. So I hope y'all have a wonderful holiday week with family, friends, or with yourself. And I will have a podcast episode the week after. Outside of that, I ain't got many updates. Check the website like y'all always do. Continue to support Black News Podcast. And with all of that said, let's get into it. All right, to start this week's episode, let's talk about Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, we know Dave Chappelle, and whenever we talk about Dave Chappelle, it seems to be some type of controversy attached to his name. This particular topic, we're discussing his appearance on Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live, as you all know, has been on, I think at this point, 45 seasons. They have hosts, they have performances. Dave Chappelle was the host this past week. And Dave usually hosts at like pivotal times in politics or in current events. I believe he hosted right after Trump was elected. There was another time that was really memorable. And this time he is hosting on the heels of the backlash against Kyrie Irving and Kanye West. Now, Dave Chappelle had his monologue 15 minutes. And when stand-ups do monologues, they do a set. I have friends and associates who have been seeing Dave work out this set in comedy clubs. So people knew kind of what he was going to do. And as a comic in a school of stand-up comedy, seeing it being put together in real time is really masterful. But it got backlash. The Anti-Defamation League chief executive officer, Jonathan Greenblatt, took to Twitter and social media and he had some words. He said, "We shouldn't expect Dave Chappelle to serve as society's moral compass, but disturbing to see Saturday Night Live not just normalize, but popularize anti-Semitism. Why are Jewish sensitivities denied or diminished at almost every turn? Why does our trauma trigger applause?" Okay, so now let me say this. I'm a stand-up comic, and I watched Dave Chappelle's set multiple times. Before I saw this statement from the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, and after the statement. Before the statement, I watched it because whether you like Dave Chappelle or not, he gives a master class on stand-up comedy. The purpose of stand-up comedy in its current form and in its original form was to bring light situations that are happening in real time in our lives, whether that is something that may be bothersome, current events, hot topics, your own personal trials and tribulations, bringing that and making it relatable or discussable content in joke form. Dave Chappelle is a master. When I watched that set, and watched how he walked the line between talking about and addressing Kyrie and Kanye and discussing the idea of anti-Semitism and what that means and what people call and consider anti-Semitism versus, perceptions in Hollywood and all of that, and wove it together. He is a master. After the statement came out, or after the set, rather, I personally did not think that Dave Chappelle was going to receive backlash for that. I actually thought black people was going to get mad at Dave Chappelle just for the simple fact, and not all black people, but the black people that are super strong defenders of Kyrie and Kanye, just for the simple fact you can't mention those two without those types of black people being like, well, why you got to bring them up in public, the black man? I thought we was going to get it from those people. So when I saw this, the backlash from the Anti-Defamation League, I was shocked. I did not think or did not perceive what he said to be hurtful. He was giving it, like, for example, he was saying something around like people think that Jewish people run Hollywood, and I can see how you think that it may not, and that they may actually not run Hollywood. Like the way he was saying it, I did not perceive his set as an attack on a certain demographic of people. However, we do know we do not have the right to tell people how to feel, because if you talk about black people, you ain't about to tell us how we supposed to feel, especially as a marginalized group. So I understand and I respect the sentiment and the feeling towards his comedy set. But as a stand-up comic, I know that whatever subject line we as comics strive to discuss, my stand-up comedy is usually based on life experiences, dating, now being my age in this world and kind of navigating, coming out of back in the day being a bad bitch and now wanting to be a bad bitch, and now I got a baby afro. Like, that's where I'm going. But even with that subject line and what I'm talking about, watching Dave Chappelle is a master class on how I could or should put together my own sets. So for me and other comics, from what I've seen, we probably sitting this one out. And again, let me reiterate, if people felt like his set was disrespectful, I respect that. And I acknowledge that everyone's feelings are valid, and I hear you. And if I'm with you. But also, because two things can be true, it was a masterful set, the way he put it together and connected all of the points. So with that, what did you guys think? Because we always see these polarizing conversations with Dave Chappelle and his stand-up comedy, which I think for him might be the goal. For some comics, it might be the goal. And it ain't even him. It's just that caliber of comic. Chris Rock got a special coming out on Netflix. He's going to be the first stand-up comic to perform live on Netflix. I'm willing to bet his joke's going to be polarizing. When Bill Burr did SNL, people felt the same way. I think his was more so with white women. They were pissed. All three of them masters at the craft. So for me, my perception is going to be different from other people. But for Black News listeners, what did y'all think? Did y'all think Dave crossed the line? Did y'all not see the set? If not, watch it. Come to your own conclusion. What did you think? I know my opinion, and again, my opinion is two sides. One thing can be true. People were hurt, and another, Dave Chappelle still is a master at stand-up comedy. So hit me up with your thoughts and let me know overall. I'm at Cornelia on social media. Child, 21 Savage said that Nas ain't relevant, and that comment literally tore the whole internet up. Okay, it tore the internet up. First of all, let's y'all. Before I even get into that, Nas just dropped his rap album, most recent, King's Disease 3. I believe Hit Boy is his producer and they've collaborated on the last 3 projects. When I tell you this Nas album so good, and I am a consumer and have been a consumer for a long time of hip hop music. My daddy bought us the Fat Boys record. We scratched it up, but we had it. We grew up listening to that in my house, along with other music, old school, all genres. Madonna, it didn't matter. We had it. But I've been listening to rap music from the beginning, since the 1980s. I don't necessarily listen to all rap music now because if I don't think it's good, I'm not going to listen. I don't care if it's current trend. If it don't sound good, I'm not going to bother. But I am a student of hip hop. Talking about getting somebody in high school when I'm 14, 15 years old to buy me rap CDs because I was too young to buy them. Here, take this $10, go in here and buy me this Biggie Life After Death album so I can listen to it. Go get that Tupac Machiavelli, the 7-Day Theory, so I can listen to it on my Discman walking around the house. So for me, I feel like I know enough about rap music to be able to speak to it. I ain't just start listening in college or in 2009 when Kanye and them came out. That ain't my story. I got skin in the game. But this new Nas album, people kept talking about it. I was like, you know what? Let me listen to it. When I tell you that Nas album so good, it's adult. I don't know. I think somebody, maybe Charlotte may be saying this, but it's so true. This is adult contemporary rap. That I'm talking about beats on point, the bar, everything you could think of about Nas and who he is and his legacy and him as a lyricist. In 2022, it is that. Fantastic album. So, on the heels of that, and I don't know if this is what sparked it, but 21 Savage was in Clubhouse having a conversation, which you should have known off top that something was going to go wrong because I didn't even know Clubhouse was still open. Why y'all still in Clubhouse? Why is Clubhouse still open? Are the doors of Clubhouse still open? I thought they closed the doors. I thought they locked the doors of Clubhouse like Joe Clark did on Lean On Me. I thought he chained the door from the insides of Clubhouse and we left it abandoned. I thought Clubhouse was the East Side High of social media platforms. But that's just me. Apparently not. 21 Savage was in there having a conversation. And somehow the topic of Nas came up. And 21 Savage goes on to say, I don't feel like he's relevant. I just feel like he got a loyal fan base. He still makes good music. And then when they asked him about the definition of relevance, he said, mostly connected or appropriate to what's being done to being considered. I don't know what that last line means, but let me back up. Isn't relevancy having a loyal fan base and still making good music? Nas won Best Rap Album last year. So isn't relevancy still selling music and still being able to make music at a high level and it being good? Isn't that what relevant means? Or does he think relevant means young people like 20s determine or dictate what relevance is? Is that the definition? Either way, Nas seemed pretty relevant to me. And I don't know if it's because I know Nas's music and history. Nas has been rapping and making music for 28 years. So, which is only 2 years less than how old 21 Savage is. So he's been making music just the same amount of time as he's been alive. So what is relevance? Because to me, it sounds like his definition is relevant. And let me add, how somebody not relevant and they still rap better than you? Like that. Hey, I'm just saying, if he ain't relevant, but he rap better than you though. So what that mean? Like, you ain't got no bars, whatever. So people were on social media defending 21 Savage. People were on social media defending Nas. It blew up. People were all over this. Because one thing you ain't about to do with rap people and old rap fans, you ain't going to disrespect the legends. 21 Savage then clarified. He said, I would never disrespect Nas or any legend who paved the way for me. Y'all be trying to take stuff and run with it. Then some people rallied behind him like, yeah, he ain't say that. That was messed up. Some people were like, but that's what you did. But you said it. You the one disrespecting it. Regardless, do y'all think that Nas is no longer relevant? Is he irrelevant? If that's what we're talking about, what makes and determines someone's relevancy? Please, we're going to need to discuss it. And then also to throw this in there, people also social media have been saying he not relevant, but his investment portfolio is. Because apparently Nas got that big bank now because he be investing in all kinds of different platforms, and things. So, I mean, maybe your fan base may not make you relevant, but them deep pockets do. So hit me up with y'all thoughts. Let me know what you thought about this whole discussion. Hit me up on social media. Wakanda forever. Spoiler alert, y'all. I am going to talk about Wakanda forever. If you have not watched this movie yet, spoiler alert. Do not continue on. I'm not going to give away the whole storyline, but I'm going to talk about enough that you going to be mad. So, X out the podcast, okay? Spoiler alert. Okay? Spoiler alert. We briefly discussed last week on Black News. We have been waiting for this movie for so long. And we were really waiting to see how they were going to make this movie without Chadwick Boseman. Ryan Coogler had to start from scratch, had the script ready. Chadwick passed away. He had to rewrite it. And this is the finished product, y'all. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It had the new characters that were fantastic. Ruth Carter did her thing on the costumes. The actors were acting their asses off. It had representation from Black and Hispanic people. It was beautifully shot. They were underwater talking and swimming around. I mean, Ryan Coogler had to learn how to swim to direct this movie. When I tell you, I was thoroughly entertained. Angela Bassett needs to receive an Oscar nomination, and she better win. Even if it ain't for this, they need to give it to her anyway to make up for her not winning for What's Love Got to Do with It in the 1990s. Okay? It was all around wonderful. It was all the feels. Emotional. I cried like 3 times. Had high energy. It was just a good movie. But what I noticed, people were ranking the movie, of course, but there seems to be 2 different types of people ranking this movie. There's people who watch Marvel movies, and there's people who don't watch Marvel movies. And to me, I honestly feel like if you don't watch Marvel movies, I can't appreciate or respect your ranking. I can't respect your 1 out of 10 ranking. And I got to this conclusion because I was having a text conversation with someone who does not, and he ranked this movie as a 6 out of 10. And I was just blown away. And I said that because when you watch superhero movies, and y'all who watch Marvel movies and shows, y'all know this. These are different types of movies. It's superhero. They're unrealistic. But Marvel, you have to insert plot points and characters that keep the story going beyond this particular movie. So for Black Panther, things happen within this movie in Wakanda Forever that if you don't watch Marvel movies and shows, you had no clue it was misplaced. But if you do, you know exactly why it was there and what that says about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for Phase 5 and 6. So for people who did not watch and people who did, regardless, when people say what they thought about it, now going forward, I'm going to ask, do you watch Marvel movies or no? Because if you are rating this as if it's like, you comparing it to like The Godfather, yes, we can do that, but you need to rank it according to movies that are like it. And to me, that's Marvel. So Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, rank it against all of those. And when we do that, this movie is one of the best Marvel movies and one of the best Marvel sequels that have been made. And it was a great movie. So I give an example. The person that I was texting with, he said he dropped the ranking down because what Elaine or whatever her name is from Seinfeld popped up, and he said that was so misplaced. What was she even doing there? You may as well have had Kramer show up as well. And then I said she actually wasn't misplaced. She was in 2 other Marvel movies for a particular reason. She is an actual character, not just some random pop-up to cast Elaine from Seinfeld in something. She is putting together the Thunderbolts, which is a Marvel movie that will be coming out the back end of Phase 5 or the top of Phase 6. He had no clue what I was talking about. But because her character just came out of nowhere for him, he thought that it just made a jumbled movie. But again, for someone who watches, I knew exactly what that meant and where it was going. He also gave like other examples that weren't, that you can tell they were things that he would have appreciated if he watched Marvel movies versus him not. So I say all of that to say, and I remember this because I remember when Black Panther, the first one came out, I was talking about it with some friends, and one of my homegirls in particular, we were discussing it, and she was saying it was kind of lacking in certain areas. And then I gave her the idea of, oh, they can do this in Black Panther 2, or if not, they can hit that in Black Panther 3. And she was like, how you know it's going to be a 2 or 3? I was like, because it's a Marvel movie and they always get 3 movies. And she was so shocked, but she was basing all of her discussions around the movie about what they should have put in part 1 versus them having to spread it out, because this is a full, complete story and Marvel has a structure. Some of y'all may not give a damn, but I have to say this because I need people to stop, or I need people to start rather, putting this movie in this proper category. Stop being like, this ain't it, The Godfather was The Godfather 2. Y'all, it's a superhero movie. Is it better than Iron Man 2? Is it better than Captain America 2? Is it better than Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2? Is it better than Thor 2? Okay. Now, so let's talk about the very ending of the movie. If you, again, watch Marvel movies, you know that there are sometimes 2 post-credit scenes, or 1 at least. This movie had 1. About post credits, the movie ends, they run the credits for a little while, and then there's another scene that comes. The end of the movie, and again, spoiler alert, okay? I'm going to spoil this. At the end of the movie, after Shuri becomes Black Panther, it looks like she's going to be Black Panther, but M'Baku is going to be king of the Wakandan throne, which is possible because y'all remember when Chadwick Boseman was playing T'Challa was Black Panther when his daddy was still alive. His daddy was still the king. So there can be 2 people holding different positions. M'Baku is going to be the ruler. Shuri is going to be Black Panther. She finally was mourning the loss of her brother. She went to Haiti to see Lupita Nyong'o's character, because that is where she was posted up for the last 6 years. Apparently after the snap, when Thanos snapped and disappeared, Lupita went there. So she's been there doing missionary work, helping out the Haitian people and then the children working at a school. Shuri was mourning the loss of her brother. Very sad moment where they played, they had her remembering T'Challa, her brother, but it was silent. No music, no soundtrack, nothing. And it was just showing clips of Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. Gut-wrenching. The silence really did something to just elevate what it is to lose people, because y'all know this, if you've ever lost somebody, when they die, it be quiet. You got to sit with those memories. You have to sit with that feeling and that loss, and it's quiet. It's dead silent. So very emotional moment. She was burning the funeral clothes, crying. Rihanna started playing Lift Me Up. So, everybody was sniffing all through the theater. Post-credit scene comes up. Lupita's character walks up with a young child, a beautiful Black boy. And I tell y'all, as soon as I saw the blurred vision of Lupita and a child, I knew exactly who that was. And I literally gasped and started clapping in the theater. Only one. I think I was only about 4 black people in my theater too. So I gasped and started clapping. I knew who that was. Lupita had a baby. Her character had a baby. Her and T'Challa had a son. They decided to raise the son in Haiti because the pressures of him carrying the potential of having to be the king of Wakanda, when they knew that his father was going to die, they did not want that on that baby. So they decided to have him raised in Haiti so he can grow up, grow into himself, his manhood, and then take the throne. Shuri did not know he existed. Their mother, Angela Bassett's character, did. She met the young boy. And the little boy said his name was Toussaint. That was his aunt. Lupita introduced him to his aunt Shuri. He then explained that is not his, that's just his Haitian name. And then in a true Wakandan fashion, because if you watch the first one and this one, when it's time for you to speak about who you are, they ask, "Who are you?" With pride, head held, chin up. "Who are you?" And the little boy said, "I am T'Challa." When he said his name was T'Challa, y'all, I bust out in tears. That beautiful black boy is the new Black Panther, potentially, and in the future. We've been having all of these discussions about how to recast T'Challa. What are they going to do? I personally, it was team recast T'Challa because the role of Black Panther is bigger than the character. And I don't believe that Chadwick Boseman was the type of person to be like, "Oh, it got to pass away with me." No, this character is very important. Representation matters. So when he said his name was T'Challa, when I tell you the joy that was in my heart, the joy that the characters were emoting, because at that point, Shuri realized, oh, I can be sad that I lost my brother, but he's not necessarily gone, and there is a future because his son, my nephew, is here now. Y'all, that broke me down. That broke me down, and I love the way they solved that in one swoop of a pen. Ryan Coogler, whether it was Ryan, his writing partner, the producers, whoever put this together, masterful work. I'm talking about, y'all, I'm so happy. Because again, all of those storylines that people were saying we can't have, and it's not gonna, he can't marry, T'Challa was supposed to marry Storm, Black Panther, were Storm in the comics, T'Challa can still do that. Because T'Challa is 6 years old right now. Now, he is a young boy. And in order to do that, they may have to age him up. This is the new phase of Marvel where we're in the multiverse. They can time jump. It's a superhero movie. It ain't real. So they can time jump and grow this child up. So by Black Panther 3, he ready to take on the throne and be Black Panther, T'Challa. Y'all, I love it. Oh my God. What did y'all think of the movie? Did y'all love it as much as I did? I'm going to see it again, by the way, because there's so many things that I missed. I've got to see it again. What did y'all think? Please, let's talk about it. Hit me up on social media with your thoughts. All right, to recap this week's episode, we talked about Dave Chappelle's recent appearance on Saturday Night Live and the backlash that it has received from the Jewish community. We also talked about, and I won't even call it a beef, but the discussion between Nas and 21 Savage fans. Is Nas irrelevant according to what 21 Savage said that he now no longer said, but the comments and the subject is still out there. Is or is not Nas still relevant? Lastly, we talked about Wakanda Forever, had some spoilers, discussed a major plot line in the movie, and talked about how I'm excited to see what is next. With that said, y'all, again, not going to be recording a podcast episode for next week. It is Thanksgiving and it is my birthday, so I will be celebrating, but I hope you all have a wonderful, safe, happy, and fulfilling holiday, whether you're spending time alone or with friends and family. Y'all, enjoy yourselves. Take breaks and rest, eat all of the food, love on all of the people, and I will see you back here next week at the same time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again. Thank you. And thank you again so much for sticking with us, supporting the podcast, liking and subscribing on all apps where podcasts can be heard, rating 5 stars, and leaving a comment. It helps more than you know, so I really, really appreciate it. And keep sharing Black News with all of your friends and family. Be sure to hit me up on social media if you got ideas for topics. Or just hit me up in general to let me know you've been listening. Let me know your thoughts. I'm at Cornelia on all platforms across the board. That's at Cornelia, like Kenny and Ophelia. Also check my website. I got some shows coming up in Los Angeles County. Hopefully get on the road soon. But for now, if you're in the LA area, hit me up. Check Cornelia.com for show dates and details. And as always, thanks again so much, guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Keep supporting, keep growing, keep building, keep staying safe, and keep staying healthy. As always, again, I'll see you back here next time, same time, same place. Bye.